My grandmother left me her jewelry when she died. My aunt has had it for 6 years and keeps finding reasons it's not ready to hand over. My grandmother raised me from age 8 after my mom's addiction made that necessary. Not a temporary arrangement, permanent. She became my parent in every way that matters. I called her Gram. I helped her with groceries when her knees got bad. I sat with her through 2 surgeries. When she died 4 years ago, I was 23 and I drove 3 hours alone because I couldn't wait for anyone else to get there first. Her will was clear. The jewelry collection, her mother's pieces, her wedding set, things that had been in the family since before anyone living was born, went to me. My Aunt Patricia, her daughter, was named executor. Patricia said she needed to keep it safe during probate. That made sense. Probate closed 14 months later. She said she needed to get everything appraised. That took 8 more months. Then she said she wanted to photograph it all for insurance documentation. Then she said she'd been busy. Then she stopped giving reasons and started just not answering when I brought it up. I was patient for a long time. Patricia had lost her mother. I had lost my grandmother. I told myself grief makes people hold on to things. Then last spring, I visited for Easter. Patricia's daughter, my cousin Brianna, 19 years old, came downstairs wearing my grandmother's pearl earrings, the ones from my grandmother's own mother, the ones I used to watch her put on before church when I was 9 years old. I didn't say anything at the table. I waited until after dinner. I found Patricia in the kitchen and asked quietly why Brianna was wearing those earrings. She said she'd let Brianna borrow them for the holiday. Said it wasn't a big deal. Said I was being oversensitive. I told her the appraisal had been done for 3 years. I told her probate closed before that. I told her I had been patient and I was no longer going to be. She said the jewelry had sentimental value to her too. That her mother had worn those pieces her whole life. That it felt wrong to just hand them over like items in a transaction. I said I understood that. I also said they weren't hers to lend out. She got quiet in a way that meant the conversation was over for that evening. I drove home with nothing resolved. For the next 2 weeks, I went back and forth on what I was willing to do. I didn't want to hire a lawyer. I didn't want to take my aunt to court over earrings. I also knew that if I let it go, those pieces would eventually disappear into Brianna's jewelry box permanently, and I would have no one to blame but myself. I wrote Patricia a letter, not an email, a physical letter. I told her what the jewelry meant to me and why. I told her about the mornings watching Gram get ready, about knowing those pieces my whole life, about what it meant to have been left them specifically. I told her I wasn't trying to take anything from her grief. I told her I was asking her to honor her mother's wishes the same way I was trying to honor her memory. I mailed it on a Tuesday. She called me that Friday. She cried through most of the call. She said she knew she was wrong. She said holding on to the jewelry had felt like holding on to her mother, and she hadn't let herself think past that. She said watching Brianna wear the earrings had been her way of keeping them alive in the family, and she hadn't considered what that looked like from where I was standing. We drove to her house the following weekend together. She'd laid everything out on the dining room table, organized, labeled with little pieces of tape marking which pieces came from which generation. She handed me the pearl earrings last. I didn't put them on right away. I just held them for a minute. Patricia watched me and didn't say anything, which was the right call. I wear them now on occasions that matter. Last month I wore them to a job interview I'd been nervous about. I got the job. I don't think that's coincidence. I just think some things carry weight.